The Senate Committee on Appropriations, Transportation and Technology is called to order. Will the Secretary please note the roll? We have one bill on the calendar, HCR 2048, and Mason will present.
Mr. Chair and members, during the Strike Everything Amendment to HCR 2048 that I'd be happy to explain.
Please do.
Mr. Chair, the two-page Strike Everything Amendment in your name dated June 11th at 12:58 p.m. constitutionally prohibits the state from confiscating monies from any scholarship account of any student who is a child of a military family if the following two conditions are met. One, the scholarship account is established and maintained by the state pursuant to a program that designates a student who is a child of a military family and satisfies enrollment requirements as eligible to receive monies. And two, the student may use the monies in the scholarship account for tuition and fees at an eligible post-secondary education institution. The eligibility requirement does not limit the prohibition to only scholarship account programs established and maintained by the state for only children of military families. Additionally, the amendment stipulates that if a bill enacted into law or a measure that is approved by the voters on or after November 1st, 2026 violates the prohibition on confiscating scholarship account monies, then the entire law or measure is void. A court may not sever any portion of a bill or measure that violates the prohibition. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mason? Thank you very much. We have the bill sponsor here. Love to hear from you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members, for hearing this on this awesome Friday. Representative Way, LD 15, coming over from the House. Chair and members, this proposal is about one simple principle. Arizona should not confiscate education scholarship dollars from military families. Children in military families live in unique uncertainty. They move more often, their parents deploy, their schooling is interrupted through no fault of their own, and in the most serious cases, these children of service members who were killed in the line of duty. So Arizona tells those families you are eligible for an education scholarship account. We should not allow a future legislature, agency, or ballot measure to later come in and take those funds away. That is what this measure does. It creates a constitutional protection for children of military families. It says the state may not confiscate scholarship account monies from them when those funds can be used for post-secondary education. With that, stand for any questions.
Members, any questions for Representative Way? Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, we have a question over here.
Senator Epstein.
Would you tell us your name, credentials over again?
Credentials?
Who you are?
My name is Representative Way.
Great, thank you. I've not had the pleasure to meet you before. Thank you.
Oh, no. You voted, yeah, okay, never mind. All right.
So, the question, Mr. Chair, for me.
You may.
The bill now with the striker is what you've just been describing, the military families should not have money taken away. And so that is because the families want to use the money for college. So are you aware of how our funding for school goes now, where we set aside money for K-12, and our goal is to educate every child for K-12, and that we use other funding to educate higher education, and that's what makes it such an efficient and effective system. So why should we keep money aside? Why should some families have money for college using their K-12 money?
Mr. Chair, Senator, that's one of the options that they can use that for. There's other options that they can use it for during their K-12 education, but one of those options too is if they're being good stewards of that money and they want to go to an in-state college, then they can do that.
But Mr. Chair, I asked why.
Why should they be able to do
Why should
it?
they be able to use their K-12 funds? The state says this is the money we're going to spend on K-12, and then these families are going to spend it on college instead, and not spend it on K-12. Why?
Mr. Chair, Senator, you and I are just going to disagree on that completely. If they want to send their children and they're being good stewards and not using the full roughly $7,500 for a school year and they're saving that for college, that's an incredible deal. Incredible deal for the state.
Mr. Chairman, to that point.
Yeah, a pot of money for people is nice.
Senator Fincham, to the point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To that point, I believe today, if a student doesn't use all of their ESA money, they're able to use that in community college and carry that on to university. So now it sounds as though Representative Way is simply making sure that that doesn't get changed, especially for a military family because of probable disruptions in their life. This is, I think, wholly acceptable, given that it's already in law.
Sounds logical to me.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator
Chair.
Epstein?
I still have not received an answer to why should the state's K-12 dollars be used for college? That's, I guess you have no answer for it, you just want it.
Mr. Chairman, that was just
I have an answer, Senator
Thank you,
Epstein.
sir, thank you.
It's the right thing to do,
But it's already
And it's already law. We've answered it multiple
and
times.
that's the better answer, probably.
Decision was made.
So-
Any
so
other
I'll-
questions?
Hey, Mr. Chair, can you answer this, just for you? If it's already law, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, should we
I
repeat?
don't know, I'm new to this.
It's a
I'm just
protection.
the sponsor of the,
No, I'm asking honestly, Mr. Chair, if
Mr.
we're,
Chairman, to
are we
that
gonna,
point.
we'll just, okay, to the point.
Perhaps I can answer the question.
Okay.
All right. If you listen to the summary of the law, the proposed law, and Mr. Way's description,
2048.
it's to prevent the state from taking away something that people are already entitled to.
So, Mr. Chair, if I could answer or respond to that, I mean, are we gonna pass a referral for every law that already exists? I mean, that, we would be really, really busy.
okay.
It would take us a while to count the ballots.
I have the sheet here, explanation sheet, since I'm legally the sponsor of the Strike Everything Amendment. I'd be happy to read it for you, if you don't mind. Okay. Summary, this prohibits the state from confiscating college savings funds from the children of military service members. There has been a lot of discussion about ESAs recently. All this does is provide ESA protections for children of service members. ESAs serve nearly 1,000 children who are qualified for ESAs through their parents' military service. Polling shows that Arizona voters support this measure by over 6-1.
Mr. Chair, I have a question,
helps.
if I could. So it's only for military service members? It doesn't affect any other ESA? Is that,
This particular HCR, yes.
okay,
Sounds fair to me.
splendid.
No, Mr.
Okay.
Chair, a question for the sponsor still. Either of you
You may.
sponsors.
You may.
Thank you. I think that the really valid point there is that this is a referral to protect money that already is in law. It stays, it's for the families. So I think it's a great question. How many referrals do we have to pass to say, oh, this law has to stay, and that law has to stay, and that law has to stay, and all these laws have to, I mean, or do you want to tell us what you're really afraid of? You must be shaking in your boots afraid of something. Do you want to tell us what that is?
There's a lot of respect in this.
I don't think he's
This-
shaking his
this,
boots. You may respond
committee-
if you want.
This is the more fun
Representative Wade.
chamber. Y-
Yeah, sure. What was the question? Is there a question?
Mr.
Or
Chair?
is she posturing again?
You may repeat your question
Yes.
if you
Exactly.
like.
Good night.
So since you're saying you're trying to protect something that is already written in law, you must be afraid something could change that. So tell us exactly, what are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of people going after military families. And I think that through the democratic representative process that we have here, the democratic republic process that we have, a majority of the House and a majority of the Senate will determine what referrals we think are necessary to protect. To reference Senator Fernandez's question on how many referrals are we going to do, it depends what 31 House members and 16 senators decide. That's how our process works in the government.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Senator Epstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rep, you're afraid of people going after military families. Do you want to describe what people, and do you want to describe why and how somebody's going to go after? I don't know anybody who's going after military families. I have no understanding of somebody going after military families, so please elucidate me.
I don't feel the need to, Mr. Chair, but we will take that note that she does not know who those people are, and I think we can move on.
Mr. Chair, if I could, I mean, I do know quite a few military families. There are 2 military bases in my county. The second largest in the country is Yuma Proving Ground, so I happen to know quite a few. But this initiative doesn't just do that. My understanding is it also has provision that invalidates, or I'm sorry, this referral does not just do that. My understanding is there's a portion of it that invalidates another initiative. Can you talk about that?
Not super in-depth, just that it would invalidate others. Anybody that would, in the future, try and go against these military families, it would invalidate that.
To
And
that
that's the
point,
purpose
Mr.
of it.
Chair, to that point, Mr.
You
Chair,
may.
you're saying, yeah, you're talking about the will of the people, though. You're talking about anybody who goes after. The people have a right
Well,
through
yeah.
the initiative process to bring
100%.
forward laws, and this is really an attempt to avoid the will of the people, is it not?
'Mr. Way?
100% no, because this is actually
the-
going to the people to vote on.
Right.
Through the chair,
But-
Mr. Way.
Mr. Chair, if I
Through the chair. Hold it, you're not
Forgive me,
recognized.
Senator Leach.
Matt-
Thank you.
Senator Kuby, you're on the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Representative, I'm concerned. Do you know about Marbury versus Madison?
Familiar?
So it established the principle of judicial review. And so this bill seems to be, there seems to be a real conflict between separation of powers issues with the bill as proposed. Deciding for the courts how they should rule if there's two distinct ballot referendums that pass. And this bill seems to be deciding a priori that what the courts would decide. So I have big concerns about its constitutional implications.
And that's your prerogative, thank you.
And Mr. Chair, if I could, I mean, the issue that I have with this. Oh,
Wait, let me interrupt for a minute. I was having this discussion. Apparently, the RTS system is not working well. People are having trouble with it. So if you would like to sign up, we have paper slips here, right there at the desk. Okay.
thank you.
Now, Senator Fernandez, but
Appreciate it.
please wait till you're recognized.
Am I recognized?
You are now, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My issue with this, and I understand protecting the future and protecting, again, like you will not find someone that cares more about military families than me. But my problem with protecting future is what if this changes? So I think what you're saying is that 16 people that are currently here, 16 in the Senate, 31 in the House, have jurisdiction over any future legislature and any future citizen
To that
For-
point, Mr. Chairman.
forever? Okay.
To that point,
To the
Mr. Chair.
point, Senator
We
Leach.
say that, we all say that about voter initiatives that are passed at the ballot, that we can't, it's almost impossible to say. So,
Mr. Chair, to that point, if I could, we're
Did you finish your comment,
finished.
Senator Leach?
yeah, and
Go
thank
ahead.
you, Mr. Chair. And yes, we say that about that, but in the case of a citizen initiative, the citizens can always come back. What this seeks to do is to say that citizens,
citizens, and the Constitution, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Fernandez, citizens can come back on this to change.
Mhm.
Just takes more signatures to get a constitutional question.
okay,
Nothing is ever permanent. It's very challenging to make changes, but nothing is ever permanent. We know that. Okay, any other questions for our sponsor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody got sheets? Liam, you got some sheets?
Do we have any, okay,
I have some already here. I have some already that talk to me.
I would like to have them fill out an official
Yeah,
slip.
they'll fill out a slip.
If you would like to speak, make sure you fill out an official slip, okay? It's late, we all want to go home, so I'm going to be a little tough. If you want to speak, fill out a slip, okay?
Matt Feinberg. Welcome, Matt. You've been here before, and please
And- Yeah, 2 minutes.
please introduce yourself, tell us who you're representing, and you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, for the record, Matt Feinberg, Director of Education Policy at the Goldwater Institute. We are here strongly in support of this measure. It was asked, why would we allow families and students to use their dollars for college? I would ask, why are we confiscating funds from these students? These are children of families who have served this nation on active duty or given their lives in the line of duty. The question was brought up about, would this be something unconstitutional? Can you tell a court what to do? It is the purpose of the court to enforce the Constitution. That may be a foreign concept to certain people. However, this is a state constitutional amendment. If this becomes a law of the land at the will of voters, this would enshrine protections for the families of militaries. You ask, why is that necessary? There are indeed threats to these families. There's a current ballot measure being proposed to attack the scholarship funds and confiscate the scholarship funds of children, including military families, done willfully so. Those families were not excluded. These families should not be treated as a piggy bank to raid. These are families, again, who have protected this nation. There are federal regulations. The 529 College Savings Plan also allows for funds to be used for K-12. This is not a unique concept to Arizona. The idea that families are encouraged to utilize resources for their children's education that best serves them. So I strongly encourage you to support this measure. Yes, it is true. This would express the will of the people. This would go to the voters. This would become the law of Arizona, and any other ballot measure that would conflict with it would be struck down. That is the will of the people. This is an amendment to the Arizona State Constitution. For those who are wishing to use the initiative process and implement provisions in there that voters do not understand because it is not expressed to them that this would have the effect, for instance, of confiscating military funds, yes, this measure would prohibit that. So yes, this is a necessary measure. We strongly support it, and I find initiatives that would confiscate the scholarship funds of military families unconscionable, and I thank you for your time.
Mr. Chair, if I could. Thank you.
You have a question for our guest?
I do. So you just said confiscate military funds. How is this confiscating military funds? I'm confused.
Mr. Chair, Senator, this would confiscate the scholarship funds from the children of military
You
families.
said military funds.
Then I misspoke. This measure says you cannot confiscate scholarship funds from the child whose parents serve or were killed in the line of duty in the U.S. military. It explicitly is for those children. So measures, they have to be, in order to run afoul of this, it has to be a measure that pulls, seizes, confiscates the specific scholarship dollars of military families.
Thank you for clarifying.
Senator Epstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would you repeat your name?
Matt Feinberg, Mr. Chair, Senator Matt Feinberg, Director of Education Policy at the Goldwater Institute.
Matt from Goldwater Institute. Thank you. I'm curious, and thank you for stating that the thing you're afraid of is the ESA initiative. That's what you think could confiscate dollars. So I want to know, why is it okay that dollars might be confiscated from other families?
Mr. Chair, Senator, thank you for the question. When you say that we are afraid of this, we are passing protections because we think it would be horrendous public policy to authorize the confiscation of funds from the children of those who have served our nation.
Mr. Chair, I asked, what about the other families? What is your comment about the other families who are not military families?
Mr. Chair, Senator, we believe that all families, regardless of their background, should be entitled to support and protection from the state, which the state does currently offer. This provision here specifically says if a measure impacts those military families, that entire measure would be struck down, affecting all families.
Senator Epstein.
Yes, thank you. And then perhaps you can give me an actual answer. Why should taxpayers' dollars that are set aside for K-12 be used for college and sometime beyond when the child is fully educated through 12th grade?
Mr. Chair, Senator, thank you for the question. As you are aware, the average per pupil funding of a district school in the state of Arizona is about $16,000 per year. The average per pupil funding for a typical universal ESA student or a typical military student, for instance, is about $7,500. So these families are already making a trade with the state of Arizona in which they are foregoing all of the investment that taxpayers would be required to pay for that child in order to serve that child better through the ESA program. Again, as an example of a program that would be protected by this. So if we as a state have said we believe that we want to support these families, those families are receiving less funds than they would if they were going to a district, and we are going to allow those families and encourage them, as the sponsor of this amendment said, to steward those resources in a way that best serves that child. That is absolutely something that we should support. We should not be encouraging families to say we care only about their education up to a certain point. I think we have seen even a recent president try to illegally transfer student loan payments to taxpayers. This measure instead says we are going to protect families K-12 through college and allow them to use and deploy those resources on the timeline that best serves those families.
Thank you very much. Any
Mr. Chair?
other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I do have a question. So
Senator Kuby.
I'm wondering, is this really about military families? Is this, maybe you're trying to use military families as a pawn to protect the fraud in the ESA program?
Mr. Chair, Senator, thank you very much for the question. Military families lay their lives on the line for this country.
Here we go.
If you want to ask about this program, this measure says you cannot confiscate it. That's very clear. Measures such as the current ballot initiative apply including to those families. The drafters of that initiative did so knowingly. It was pointed out publicly that this measure would confiscate the college savings of military families. The measure was not changed. That measure, again, the current anti-ESA measure that you have referenced as well, explicitly goes in and says we're going to give special ed kids 2 years before we confiscate their funds. So this was a conscious choice. They could have exempted these families from this program. They consciously decided to leave them in as a piggy bank to be able to take their resources away from them. So this is not about using military families. This is about protecting military families and recognizing that there are some measures so intentionally poorly or so carelessly crafted that they do deserve to be struck down in their entirety.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Chair.
My eyes are rolling in the back of my head.
Yeah, no, actually, I'll say for comment. Never mind.
Okay.
Kevin
Thank you
Beastie.
very much.
Kevin, I saw you. There he is. Welcome, Kevin. I think this is the first time that I've had the opportunity to ask you to introduce yourself and tell us who you're representing. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Senator Leach, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for the record, my name is Kevin Beastie, and I'm here on behalf of the Arizona Christian Education Coalition. We are in support of this initiative, and we ask you to support it as well. The Arizona Christian Education Coalition is a coalition of schools here in Arizona, and what we believe is that every parent has the right to select the education that's best for their child. Public school, charter school, home education, private Christian school, Jewish school, whatever it is, that should be the ability of the parent to choose that education and have the opportunity to access it. So we're here to stand in support of protecting our military families and ask that you support this. I did have a constituent from District 23 here earlier today, a retired military vet who has adopted her son and is very worried about what this initiative, without this initiative, what's going to happen for her child's education in the future. So I ask that you support it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Questions for
I
our
just have a
guest?
question. So how...
Senator Kuby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How exactly does this initiative prohibit students from choosing their own school? Please explain.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Kuby, because if I'm a military family on ESA and if the funds are swept, as the other initiative has directed, then I am inhibited from providing future education needs to my child.
But Mr. Chair, if you're at
You
a
may.
Christian, thank you. If you're at a school, a Christian school, you're paying tuition, and presumably it's more than the amount that you're given as a voucher.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Kuby, that is a piece of information out there that's not accurate. We have a school here in downtown Phoenix, 91st Psalm, that an ESA, a basic ESA, covers the full tuition for that student.
Right, so the excess over is typically more homeschoolers, not those that are in a school, in a private school?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Kuby, I don't understand your question.
Mr. Chair, if I may. So this is about money that will be in the account not used. So in your scenario, a family has money in the ASA account. They pay for their tuition each year to go to the school you just described. There's nothing else left to
Oh,
confiscate.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Kuby, Senator Epstein, what I was referring to is the allegation that ESAs do not cover tuition expenses for schools. That's what I was referring to, that there are plenty of schools out there that a basic ESA does cover, okay? And by removing, we're getting into the bigger ESA picture, by giving people access to the education of their choice, then you're, by killing an ESA program, that's effectively what you're doing.
Mr. Chair, if I could ask a question. So
Senator
are you
Fernandez.
familiar with paragraph 5 in this? Have you read this entire referral?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Fernandez, I don't have the language in front of me. I have read it.
Okay.
But if I can grab a copy, or you can tell me what it says.
Well, so it's just the last sentence in paragraph 5. It reads, "This paragraph does not limit the subject section to scholarship account programs that are established and maintained by the state for only children of military families." What do you take that to mean?
Well, that means that if this were to pass, that other families would be affected as well
Affected by what?
by sweeping funds.
So this isn't for military families.
No, it's for military families
And
and any family that is receiving ESA.
so why aren't we just saying this is for every family then?
Because the military families are the ones that are going to be harmed. And we asked, like Mr. Beinberg said, this has been brought up earlier, and it was neglected.
Mr. Chairman, to that point, I guess I
Senator
would have a
Finch.
question for Mr. Beasy. Am I accurate when, in my understanding, that 95% of the school children in this state choose to use public schools and not an ESA?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Fincham, yeah, I've seen those statistics, and nor do we advocate that everybody is, we know everybody's not going to send their child to a private school or private Christian school or something like that. But those families that choose to do that and are still paying their taxes into the system to fund their neighborhood school, and in return is asking for half of that so that they could educate their child, I think that's fair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
One moment. The folks at home apparently can't hear, so if you can pull that mic real close.
Yes, you got to
Eat
keep
the
it
mic.
really
There
close,
you
right?
go.
Okay.
There you go. Senator
thank you,
Fernandez.
Mr. Chair. So my question is, why can't we just say this is for all families? Like, why are we even introducing the facade of military families?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Fernandez, you're a sitting member of the committee. You can propose amendments as you choose.
This is not my referral, nor was I even asked to amend it. I didn't see it before it came up apart. I'm just wondering why it mentions or even highlights military families, why we start talking about military families, why every speaker so far, there's only been 2, including yourself, have mentioned only military families primarily. And then it actually is, as I said in the bottom part of paragraph 5, the last sentence, this is for every family.
So, Senator Fernandez, we do have another speaker. Maybe they can answer your question to your satisfaction, if you don't mind us
I don't mind at
moving
all.
along.
Mr. Chair, for you,
And Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'll be happy to send over letters from other families that I have. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Peter Gentile. Peter, welcome on a Friday night to Senate Appropriations. Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you're representing, and you have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members.
Got to keep the mic real close to you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Peter Gentala. I'm the president of Center for Arizona Policy, and I'm an attorney. I used to represent the Arizona House of Representatives for 7 years, and I've even represented this chamber in litigation before, so I've got a lot of work on constitutional cases touching the authority of the legislature. I just want to be clear, CAP supports this because this is an amendment to our state constitution that would protect our families with kids, families of military members that have kids in the ESA program, and it would prevent any other statute from sweeping those funds, from confiscating those funds and taking them away. And that would include the proposed ballot initiative that has been brought out there. I'm sure you're aware of it, but the number is I-09 2026. It's the Protect Education Act is the name of it. I believe I have that name right. But if that were to pass, this is my understanding of how this works. If that were to pass by the voters and this constitutional amendment were to pass in the election in the fall, the ballot measure would be void on its face. It would have to yield because this is a constitutional amendment.
To that point,
Senator Epstein.
Mr. Chair, I would like to get a viewpoint of somebody
Miss-
from our legal
Just
team,
point of
because I
order,
believe
Mr.
that's just
Chairman.
point blank wrong, and we can't have him
Okay.
state a process that's just
Point of
wrong.
order, Mr. Chairman.
Point of order.
This is a statement by Peter Gentala. He has time that we allocated to him. Questions are acceptable afterwards normally. That's at your discretion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, let's let him finish his testimony. Did you have something else to share?
I'll just finish that statement just so I make sure I said it clearly. It's my understanding, and the way I read this language as a proposed constitutional amendment, if the people of Arizona enact it, it will prevent any measure from taking the funds away from students of military families, and that would include the so-called Protect Education Arizona initiative, if that is also passed by the people. And the reason for that is that is a statute, and this is a constitutional amendment. So if the people choose to amend their constitution, that statute would have to yield, and there's express language in here that says that is the case. And with that, I'll conclude. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Now, Senator Epstein, did you have a question you wanted to ask
Yes,
of
Mr.
our
Chair.
guest?
Well, I would like to get an answer, if anybody on staff can help
Senator
us out.
Epstein, if someone wants to speak, they can fill out a slip.
Well, no,
So
Mr.
staff, I want to
Mr.
ask
Chair,
staff a question.
Yes. She's looking, Mr. Chair, if I could, I believe she's looking towards asking staff a question.
Okay.
It's my understanding as well that if two competing initiatives are both passed, that the one with the most votes prevails in the issues where they have commonality. So that's the way I've always read it. I am, to be clear, I'm not an attorney, but I've always been told that historically. I mean, I've been here 5 years. My mother, I believe, was here for 8 before me. I think you know
Okay.
her as well.
Mason, would you like to attempt to answer that question? Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you,
tonight. Peter, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm happy to take any other questions that may be here from the
And
committee.
if there are other
in relation to
questions,
that.
we'll
Thank
call you back up, if that's okay.
Mr. Chair, Senator Fernandez, could you repeat the question, please?
Certainly. If two competing referrals or initiatives are passed and they have some commonality, which one prevails? Is it the one with the most votes, or is it the one that we like the best?
Mr. Chair, Senator Fernandez, Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution does have language regarding this. It says if two or more conflicting measures or amendments to the Constitution are approved at the same election, the measure or amendment receiving the greatest number of affirmative votes shall prevail in all particulars. It does specify the Constitution. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't have a better answer for you, but if it's two constitutional ones, then yes.
That sounds like
The
a
one
pretty
with
good
the
answer.
most
Thank you.
answer or votes would win.
Okay. Mr. Vice Chair, anyone else signed up to speak?
Were there any questions?
Will the Vice Chair please move the bill?
Mr. Chairman, I move HCR 2048 be returned with a due pass recommendation. And Mr. Chairman, I also move the Strike Everything Amendment in Senator Farnsworth date dated 6/11/26 at 12:58 p.m. be adopted.
Members, the motion before you is the adoption of the Farnsworth Strike Everything Amendment. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed vote nay.
No.
It appears the ayes have it, do have it, so ordered.
Mr. Chairman, I move HCR 2048 as amended with a due pass recommendation.
Members, the motion before you is HCR 2048 as amended, receive a due pass recommendation. If there's no further discussion, seeing none, will the Secretary please call the roll?
Senator Alston. Mr. Chairman, may I explain my vote?
You may.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman and members, I am a no vote on this constitutional amendment. We've heard some things that I think are not accurate as far as numbers and that sort of thing in our testimony today. But we clearly know that children in public schools don't have the same advantages as children in private schools and ESA, paid for by ESAs. You know, it's just incredible to me that some kids are in classrooms where the roof is falling in, the rats are running in. We've just lost a lawsuit about the facilities. We're not paying our teachers enough. We're not keeping our programs up enough to give public schools who are not in these programs equal opportunities in education. And I think that we allow people to pack away, not use for the education that they're getting the money for, but to pack it away for some future need is unconscionable when we don't have the money to take care of public school kids. And we don't have the money to pay for children in foster care who are being cared for by their grandparents who are old, retired, and struggling for money. In this budget, we could have given those families $100 per child per month at the cost of $2 million. And you have got a bunch of asks in this budget that are much excessive of that tiny little thing. So I just think it's a horrible idea to let people pack money away for college when other kids are literally starving, and we have to fight even for their food in your budget. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you for indulging me. I am a strong, strong no.
Senator Angus?
Aye.
Senator Epstein?
Pass.
Senator Fernandez?
Mr. Chair,
You may.
thank you so much. First of all, thank you very much for coming. I apologize for my casual attire, Mr. Chair. I'm in an executive MBA program, and I wasn't coming back, but I raced over here because apparently I missed you guys too much.
You really look like an executive MBA.
Well, happens. But sorry, Professor. I actually had to leave early, but I want to say a couple of things. I support school choice. I think it's important that parents and students be able to make decisions that make the most sense for them. My problem with these type of things is we've created an ESA program that has quite literally no controls. We are talking about this as I said before, as if this is for military families. It's not for military families. That is just a facade, if you will, of what this is really about, and that's fine. I mean, it is up to the sponsor to decide what they want to name the bill, and this is military families. But my issue with ESAs is when we sit and we give certain parents the right to take money, and then we say that we're not actually going to be accountable for this money. You're going to be able to use it for whatever. If it's under $1,000, as I've understood that the superintendent has decided, you are going to start seeing what we are, which is people purchasing women's lingerie, other fun things that are not educational. We see golf clubs, things that students in public schools would never be able to have, that they're using with our taxpayer money. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's what we should be doing with this money. I think we'd be much wiser spent using it for our students and for their educational benefit. The other problem I have with ESAs, and I didn't see any solution to this with the referral that we voted down earlier this evening, testing. So in public schools, we have to test our kids. We test them constantly. My sister is a public school teacher. My mother was as well. The students in public schools are tested constantly, as are the schools. We don't have that in the private schools. We don't have that at home schools. We don't know if they're learning or not. We can guess, but we have no idea. That's a real problem to me. I think that's something that we need to do. I think we need to ensure that they're learning. And if they're learning, that's a different conversation. But if they're not, we need to do something about it. I'm very much against this role. This is obviously, I I mean, we can't say, we couldn't demonstrate last hour more than doing something like this. It's Friday. Again, I didn't think we'd still be here. Mr. Chairman, you promised me we wouldn't be here this late, but here we are. Thank you all for coming. Again, I'm a strong no.
Senator Fincham,
Pass.
Senator Cubey,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I explain my vote?
You may.
And this is all political theater. The elephant in the room is the elephant in the room. It's just simply trying to invalidate the pending citizen initiative that will reform the ESAs, the expanded empowerment scholarship accounts that have been so devastating to our budget, so devastating to public schools, and apparently with this proposal, this HCR, we're looking at something that will devastate the Arizona Constitution. So I am a decided no on this, and I would just think in the last hours of this legislative session to spring this little trick onto the agenda, put on the board, that we should be ashamed of ourselves. We're not doing anything to help our public schools. We're trying to harm them. There's been a systematic attempt to destroy our public schools over the past 15 years, and Democrats are standing up and saying no more. And we want the will of the voters to be seen, to be heard at the ballot box. I vote no.
Senator Leach,
Pass.
Senator Rogers,
Mr. Chair, may I explain my vote?
You may.
Thank you for having me substitute on this committee. I think it's providential that I'm able to be here, since I'm the only military member who has had kids and who's deployed and who had 20 years of military service. And now I'm in this position of being an elected official. My obligation is to protect those who can't protect themselves. And so we're at this crossroads here where there might be a danger to a program that's already in law. And so I would submit to my colleagues that we're not here to argue or justify the ESA program in and of itself. What we're here to do is protect a certain group of Arizonans, of Americans who've put it all on the line, left their kids behind. My kids were little when I had to deploy. It was a big impact on our family. They were 6 and 9 years old. And if you ask them today in their 30s and with their own kids, they will tell you how much hurt and pain it was to have their mother gone for 6 months. And so I find it incredible that we're even talking about this or arguing about it. It's our job to protect those who cannot protect themselves. And if there's a whiff of a chance that we're unable to protect them in this way, hats off to Representative Way on protecting them in a proactive manner. And that's what this does, and it clearly applies to military. And I'll read you the first sentence. This state may not confiscate monies from any scholarship account of any student who is a child of a military family, and then it goes on to say what applies. So it's very clear there. And you, my colleague from Yuma, would know this best, having 2 military installations in your district. So it's my honor and privilege to sit here and say that it's our job to do this, and I'm happy to do this, and with that, I'm a strong aye.
Senator Warner,
Aye.
Senator Epstein,
I would like to explain my vote.
You may.
The first thing I have to ask is why. If this was all so very important, I mean, the Protect Education Initiative has been out there for quite some time, so why does this bill need to be brought up now? Well, I feel that the answer is that earlier today and yesterday, Republicans tried very hard to blackmail many people in order to stop the Protect Education Initiative, and that
Point
didn't
of
work
order.
out for them. So now we're trying to
Uh,
do another.
Point of order.
We don't
Senator
normally do that
Rogers,
for-
what is your point of order?
My point of order is the word blackmail casts aspersions on the character of us as a group, and I
I
don't
didn't
appreciate
mention any
that.
names.
Mr. Chair, we're
I didn't
usually
use
reading-
any names.
One at a time, Senator Epstein is
yes.
explaining her vote, but please,
I won't say it
you
again.
know, we need to be, there's no need to be rude to each other, so.
Yet, we did have this backroom dealing that was going on for the last few days, and I don't blame the folks who were being threatened because the threat is real. There's an existential threat out there from some of the things that are trying to be put forward with Republican Party votes. And I don't blame them. I don't blame teachers or anybody else for being angry about the referenda that are being put forth with Republican majority party votes. But this HCR in particular, because this is the one we're talking about right now, has a number of serious problems, and it has not been vetted. This is the first we're hearing of it, the first time the public's hearing of it. And so not vetting this program is actually how we ended up with all the waste, fraud, and abuse in the universal ESA program that we have. So I support the program for special education for students with disabilities. When it was limited to students with disabilities, it was primarily used for K-12 education for children's special needs. But now, with the shoddy words that were done in the expansion, we have horrible waste, fraud, and abuse. People are using it to buy diamond rings and ski vacations and lingerie, and et cetera, and the public is outraged at the waste, fraud, and abuse in the universal ESA program. Our tax dollars should be used to educate children in K-12 when they are dedicated K-12 tax dollars, and passing shoddy work at this late hour begs the question, why? Why is this being pushed? Well, I believe it's because the Republicans know that the Protect Education Initiative is very, very popular. And they want the waste, fraud, and abuse to go on. And if the Protect Education Initiative passes, the waste, fraud, and abuse will have to be stopped. And I think maybe they don't want to stop the waste, fraud, and abuse. So they're trying to come up with a way to cancel it because paragraph
Mr. Chairman,
B-
point of order.
What is your point of order?
To suggest that this caucus wants waste, fraud, and abuse to go on is impugning our motives.
No, I don't, Mr.
Oh.
Chair.
Mr. Chair, it doesn't apply.
And I would also ask
Mr.
that
Chair,
if we
for
can't
votes-
have decorum in the room, that the room be cleared.
Mr. Chair, for vote explanations, come on.
Hold on.
I'm just going to quote from the bill.
We
next, Mr.
need
Chair.
silence from the audience or the room will be cleared. Okay. Now, Senator Epstein, again, I would ask you to please, I said in my prayer today what I really believe that we in the Senate are a family. And I really believe that all of us want the best for the state. And so to impugn us by saying we want waste, fraud, and abuse, that's going a little far because we could say the same thing about the other side, but I choose not to. Okay, so please explain your vote, but be respectful, please.
Okay, as I was saying, this measure, this HCR, says that notwithstanding Article 4 of the Constitution, and let me tell you, whenever a bill or a proposed law says notwithstanding everything else, I think it's about the most rude clause we can ever put into law because it says only my law counts, all the other laws do not count, and I can't stand it. But nonetheless, this says notwithstanding Article 4 of the Constitution, if a bill enacted into law or a measure approved by the voters on or after this date, November of 26, if it violates subsection A of this section, the entire bill or measure is void. Ladies and gentlemen, this HCR has the audacity to say that we're going to put it in the Constitution. And you can see Mr. Way smiling over there because he knows that's exactly what his intention is. This HCR has the audacity to say the well thought out and thoroughly vetted Protect Education initiative that has had a lot of time and a lot of care put into it, that this shoddy work should come in and void the will of the voters. And that is what this HCR 2040 that Rep. Way is sponsoring would do. It is designed to void the entire measure that would be voted upon by the people of Arizona. It is the most audacious, most rude, most obnoxious, most harmful kind of law that I can imagine. The entire bill or measure is void. If one part of a measure conflicts with what Representative Way wants, the entire bill or measure is void. I am appalled at the excessive and extreme notion that this measure is more important than the will of the voters on another measure. I am running out of words because I have such extreme disrespect for this HCR and perhaps the person who's sponsoring it. I vote no.
Senator Fincham.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to explain my vote.
You may.
Okay. There's been a vast amount of gaslighting that has occurred over the last 20 minutes. As a chairman, Mr. Chairman, could you ask for silence in the gallery?
Please remember, this is explanation of vote, and you had an opportunity to speak. All you had to do is fill out a slip, which you chose not to do. Okay, and now we're voting. So I noticed someone going like that in exchange for clapping. That's a great idea. If you like what you hear, you may do that. Whatever signs you want to make, but please don't interrupt. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the chairman of the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, we've heard ample testimony. That I find it interesting that my colleagues are obsessed with a 2% error rate with ESAs. By the way, much of that money's been clawed back. This is coming from the Auditor General.
Not true.
When we have 15%, 7% in other state programs. Healthcare, which really I find incredibly offensive because that's stealing healthcare from other people. I've also hear a misrepresentation of the use of an ESA. It actually saves the state money,
Nope.
saves the taxpayers money. And what I find interesting, 95% of the kids in this state choose public schools. Let that sink in for a minute. 95%. And I've spoken with lots of parents who have said, I choose my public school. I prefer that over homeschooling or other schools. Okay, great. That's your choice. Okay? The other thing I find utterly disingenuous, these are both referrals to the voter. They get a choice. Now, having a choice of one is no choice. Having a choice of multiples, now we're talking about choice. So we talk about, oh, this is going to disenfranchise the voters because one measure is going to overrule another. They're both referrals to the ballot. They give the voter a choice on which thing that they would like to proceed with.
Mr.
So,
Chair, to that point.
Mr. Chairman, I'm in the middle of explaining my vote.
You did the same thing. Oh, then do point of
So, Mr. Chairman, now that I've lost my train of thought, I'll just be a very strong aye. Thank you.
Senator Leach.
Mr. Chairman,
You may.
I've got a whole raft of notes that I was going to say. I think it's all been said, positive or negative. I yield not my time, but my thoughts to that of Senator Rogers and her discussion of her time and her early family life. I think that says a lot about what Mr. Way has brought to us. And with that, I'm an aye.
Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Farnsworth.
You know, when I first came to the legislature in 1994, in my opinion, the education system in Arizona was a mess, which I participated in. I graduated from public schools, and I believe in life. Competition is a wonderful thing. And competition in education improves education for all children. And I know there's strong differing opinions in this room, but we are all entitled to our opinions. And so this, back in 1994, was just a dream that parents could actually have a say in how their children were educated. And I know you folks that are supportive of public schools, wonderful. I have grandchildren in public schools, and as was mentioned, some people choose public schools, other people choose private schools, and so forth. Anyway, I think it's marvelous that we have a choice, and with that, I vote aye. Members, by your vote of 6 ayes, 4 noes, and 1 not voting, you have given HCR 2048 as amended to do pass recommendation. And having no further business, the Appropriations, Transportation, and Technology Committee is adjourned.